I know, you're thinking you clicked on this video for an S10? Just hear me out, hear me out.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Underbuilt Garage. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. You might like what we got going on. Anyways, this week we're talking winter beaters. Every year for me, it's something different. I have actually wanted this style of truck, this style of S10 for a long time. They're hard to come by around here for some reason. But anyways, before you guys run off and say, it's just an S10, whatever, let me explain to you why I think this will be the ultimate winter beater for me around here. Now, this is a 95 S10 that I have $800 in. I picked it up the other day. Yes, it has a camo paint job on it. That's not staying. We're going to address that in this video. Yes, it has purple Camaro IROC Z wheels on it. Also, they might stay, but they're not staying purple. Brush guard on there? Nah, that can stay. We're not worried about that. What else about it? There's a lot of things about this truck that have been jerry-rigged, I guess you could call them. The rear speakers are just hanging by the wires in the back of the truck. But the reason why I think that this is going to be the ultimate winter beater, this truck is a 4.3 V6 stick shift with a floor shift four-wheel drive. Now, I've tested the four-wheel drive. It works. Obviously, I've been driving this thing for the last couple days. It even has good door pins. You don't find that in a Bubble S10. In this video, though, I want to get it ready for me to drive it, turn it into my truck, my thing, because honestly, I think it's absolutely ugly right now. So we're going to address that. First things first, well, probably not first things, but as far as the paint, I still have in that gallon there what is left over from when I painted the Falcon. I maybe used a quart of that to paint the Falcon. So we're just going to crudely paint this thing flat black with that. The wheels, I might just go with a gloss black on them. I haven't decided yet. Might try to wire wheel all the purple off of there and make them back to the original aluminum color. We got to get a radio in it. There doesn't seem like there's any rear brakes. If you paid attention enough when I pulled in here first the video, the front wheels locked up, the backs did not. So I need to look into that. And the coolant. There's a lot to be desired there. I was told that this truck, the previous owner told me, new radiator, new thermostat, new water pump, the whole nine. And it looks like whoever has been owning this truck forever has just been putting water in it because it is super brown. So we're going to have to flush the coolant out of it. Because it is a very unpleasant color. It is just straight brown, terrible. This is the bottom of the cap. Inside the radiator, it doesn't look much better, so we're going to have to address that. What else about it? Oh, this one I'm talking about jerry-rigged. There's a hose clamp on an adapter for a wire. Come on, what are you guys doing? Like, you could do better than that. But yeah, we're just going to go on this thing, get it reliable, switch some things out in it that are missing. We'll go to the pick and pull, and I'm looking to spend as little as possible on this thing to just get me through the winter. If anything, I might end up keeping it because, like I said, you don't find them in a 4.3 5-speed and a floor shift four-wheel drive. You just, at least not around here, you don't find them. Probably going to go ahead and tint the windows too. We got to get a radio in it. This is missing here. There's just a bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, over here. There's a gauge that they just drilled a million holes and just stuck it in there. We're going to have to address that too. Gas gauge does not work. I was also told there's a brand new tank in it and brand new sending unit. Maybe it's just a cluster. We're also going to look into that. Oh, can I show you the speaker that's just hanging? Check this out. These are the wires. Speaker just hanging. That's pretty mint. We're also going to address that. Yeah. I think first things first, though, I'm going to back this thing back outside and start draining the rust water that's in it. And then we'll fire it up. I'll stick my hose in it, my water hose, and just let it run until that comes out clean. Then we'll drain that out. I've got 2.5 gallons, I think. Yeah, 2.5 gallons of full strength, straight antifreeze. we'll get this thing back to what it should be with some normal coolant in it. But yeah, you can see there's brand new alternator on it. Water pump's hard to see. Thermostat also hard to see. And we need a muffler. I don't care what it is, V6, they never sound good. This one also does not sound good. I'm okay with a little bit of noise, but this one's just too loud. We're gonna quiet her down. Oh, and we also need to get one of these on there. Stickers. I have stickers now, and I want to get one of those on the back window. Have to get it cleaned up. We need wipers. Just the normal maintenance. She's been neglected for who knows how long. Go through it, check all the lights, make sure they're all good. The normal. Oh, I just noticed that they spray painted over the third brake light. Come on. You kidding me? Anyways, let's start with the coolant. All right, I got this thing outside. And if you're not using a shop light, it's like ceiling light for your trouble light, what are you doing? These things are awesome. Just make sure you get an LED one so that way you're not dropping it and shattering it everywhere. Anyways, I got what's left of the fan shroud out of the way, so that way I can get in here to everything. I tried to get the drain petcock open down there. That's not happening. I started to squirt some water in here, and it's just coming out brown. I don't know if I can get this to dump some and show you guys. Nah, not really. But if you look in there, it's just brown. I'm going to spend the next little while. I'm probably going to take off the thermostat housing. Hopefully that doesn't snap, because that's using my luck. But if the guy was honest, supposedly it has a newer thermostat in it. But anyways, I'm going to take that out, stick the hose in the top of the motor, let it run out the lower hose, and then I'll probably stick the hose in this side of the radiator, rinse this side out, push it through that way, vice versa. So it's cold. I don't want to be doing this forever, so I'm probably just going to go ahead and knock this out. It's pretty self-explanatory, just running the hose through everything and washing out all the brown until it comes out clean. Then I'm going to bring this thing back inside, and we'll get some good fresh coolant in it. So I'm going to knock that out, then I can get this door shut because it's cold. I'll be right back. Okay, it is now 2 days later. Work gets in the way all the time. It is what it is. But I just got back from the pick and pull. I went and picked up some miscellaneous stuff for this thing to help it along, fix some of the jury-rig stuff it's got going on in its life. But I wanted to show you guys what I spent on that stuff so far, because I want to keep a tally on how much I have invested in this truck. I spent $800 initially on the truck. At the pick and pull, I just spent a total of $118 at our local pick and pull for everything else. So we're up to $918. Well, we'll call it $920 because it is 76 cents in there. We'll just round up to $920. There's going to be some other stuff I've ordered online, but we'll cover those prices when we get to them. But anyways, back to what I was doing 2 days ago. I need to get the front of this thing put back together. The guy did not tell the truth on where is it at? The thermostat. This thing has been in there for a coon's age, and you can see just the color of this thing is. That's what the coolant looked like. It was just terrible. So I got a new one. I need to put that in there. New O-ring, all the goodies. I'm just going to slap this thing back together and get some coolant back in it. We'll get it running, get it burped, all that good stuff. And then we'll hop on the inside of this thing and see if we can't doll up on the inside of her. All right, everything up here is put back together minus the air cleaner, and I haven't put coolant in it yet. And that's because I just remembered one of the things that I want to swap out kind of involves before I put coolant in it. And that would be, when I was at Pick and Pull, I bought a new gauge cluster because in this truck, this silly gauge here is a temperature gauge, and the readout, the gauge on the cluster doesn't work, along with the fuel gauge doesn't work. I've done a bit of digging the other night when I was out here. I did a few tests on it. They said if you ground out the wires at the sensor, if the gauge doesn't peg all the way to hot, that it's either the cluster's bad or the wire between the cluster and the sensor is bad. Well, I ground out both wires and nothing happened. So I'm hoping that it's the gauge cluster, and also maybe it'll fix the fuel gauge at the same time. Maybe. If not, the guy, once again, the guy said that it had a new fuel tank in it. I haven't looked. And a sending unit. Maybe they didn't. Well, they'd have to plug it in. It should all be on the same plug because it's fuel injected. So it's not a single wire setup. Anyways, hopefully the new gauge cluster that I bought, which is right here in the bed, will fix it. Yes, we are gaining a lot of miles. This one has 266 and the truck has 175. Oh well. We're not going for low miles here. We're going for functionality. So let me start tearing this dash apart. Get that swapped out. These things are cool. They're still pretty old school. There's not a plug that actually plugs into these. I can get it here. They just have this here is where it plugs in, and there's just a ribbon wire, and the plug just slides in there. It's actually part of the dash. It's pretty wild. I'll show you once I get that out. But to get this out, there is, hold it again. I'm just gonna set it back in here. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws that hold it in. You got to pop off the bezel around the radio, which you just grab it, yank it, and then there's one screw here and one screw over here, and this whole thing pops right out. So I'm gonna do that real quick because I don't have a small tripod to put you guys in here to watch. Maybe I'll figure something out. Either way, that's what I'm gonna do. Well, I got you guys set up there anyways. Figure we just knock this out real quick. This thing is pretty legendary. I'm not even sure what's going on here. They just got screws going into stuff, into these little brackets. People will MacGyver anything out of anything. I'm not even. Anyways, keep going. This one I think is just nailed in, so we'll just spin that over. And yeah, there's the gauge. Not sure how they got that through there, but anyways, that's all for there. Now we got the 2 screws, if they're even in it. Oh, there's one. One screw here. And then another one over here. And then we just pull on it. Put the steering column down all the way. Try not to break this because they didn't have any of these that weren't broken at the local pick and pull. So come on, be nice. Oh, turning everything on. Hazards are on. Now we're gonna have to unplug these. These are headlight switches. All right, there's that. I think I'm just gonna let this hang for now, just because I really don't feel like fighting with this gauge right this second. Whoa, and that's what I was saying about the coolant, because if we can get the gauge to work, out there I gotta swap this mechanical gauge out for the factory gauge, and I didn't want to lose a bunch of brand new coolant. So now we got these 5 bolts. There's one that's down in here. I'm going to attempt to get out without taking the cover off. Yeah, I'm going to be able to get it. When I was at the pick and pull, I had to take the cover off the steering column. I didn't have the right length extension. All I had was my electric ratchet, but anywho, get this one out of here. Okay, so I am going to have to take this off because I forgot that the cluster runs into it. I was also going to get a set of sun visors while I was there, but I didn't have the right star bit. I didn't have any star bits. I think every sun visor I've ever taken off in my life has been a Phillips screw. Apparently not an S10, and actually I chucked other GM trucks there Apparently it's been a thing for a while. Anyways, let's get this cover off of here. Now with any luck, these will go back in. I've never had luck with these. I've also never had luck getting these apart without breaking them. Oh, we're getting lucky. Something is broken in here. Oh, it's this. The little standoff for that. So when it goes back together, it'll have one screw in it, and that boss is also cracking. So it'll either last or it won't. Okay, we're not going to talk about how that came off, but it's off. It'll go back on. Anyways, I also had a problem with it running into this plug here, now that my mind has been refreshed. So I'm going to have to spend the next hour figuring out how to unplug that one, because I could not figure it out. There. I think just going to do it that way. Boom, now that's out of the way. We can pull this right out of here. This is what I was saying about this, the ribbon thing. The plug is part of the dash. That's why, I'm assuming that's why there's a screw on either side of it to really pull it in there and make sure it's plugged in. Alright, let's see if we can't plug in that other one. See if that'll fix it. Then we just grab our other one, slip it right in. Push her down in there just like that. I'm going to go ahead and put these two screws in here. That way I know that it's being held in. Alright, if we turn the key on, I know for a fact it has less, or it has more than empty, which is what the other fuel gauge constantly read. And as far as the temperature gauge, it's down past 100 right now. The other one never went that far. But I was going to take my little butane torch and heat up the sensor out there and see if we can make this one move. But let's see what the gas gauge says. Empty. Okay, so it's not the gauge for that. But let me go up front and see if we can get that thing to move with heating up the sensor out there. Alright, so I have been misled by the internet. Would you imagine that? I always knew, well, you guys are probably not going to believe me, but I've always known for newer cars to have two temp sensors. And I'm sure some of you guys are screaming at the screen right now, there's another sensor, there's another. Well, I just figured that out. I mean, I've been researching, and everything I was saying, or seeing online, was saying there's a single wire temp sensor. The one that's on the top of the motor, and I had asked Google, like everybody does previously, which sensor ran the gauge, and the answer that I got immediately from that was the one on the intake. So that's the one that I was going by. Well, I just got on another forum, and there is another temp sensor, and it is the one that runs the gauge, and it's on the side of the head. Now, I have located it and I have unplugged it. This red wire runs over to the battery and is plugged into the negative side. I'm going to plug that in real quick when I set the camera down into that plug. So give me a second. Alright, that's plugged into there. That red wire is jammed into that blue plug there. And on these gauges, clusters, or whatever, they read through a ground. It measures resistance. The hotter it gets, the less resistance it measures, or more. One of the two. Either way, with that plugged in, it should dead ground out the gauge, and it should peg the gauge all the way past hot. If I put you guys in here, you can see there, the gauge on the top left is your temp. It's all the way to 100. Turn the key on. Boom. Pegged all the way. So that means that the sensor on the side of the block is bad. And there has been two people to get fooled by this, me and the previous owner, or the guy who put the gauge terribly in the dash. Either way, all we gotta do is buy a sensor for the side of the block that fixes the gauge. We can return the other gauge cluster, save some money, and yeah, that's gonna be sweet. Now, as far as the fuel gauge, that's not as important as a temp gauge to me. I can run this thing till it's empty, or I can fill it up, reset the trip, run it till it runs out, and then I know. So I'm not too sure if I'm going to dive into that unless I find some need at some point of owning this truck to pull the bed off because I'm not dropping the tank. Forget that noise, because then you run into lines that break and just not doing it. So probably not going to worry about the fuel gauge. We'll put the other cluster back in it. That way we get 100,000 less miles back to what it was. And then we can return that gauge cluster and save ourselves some money. And that will knock the price of this truck down even more. So, but I'm about to do that tomorrow because I just got a phone call and I got to get up super early for work. But what are you going to do? So tomorrow I'll get a gauge. Or not a gauge. I'll get a sensor. We'll slap that in there. We'll go ahead and top this thing up with coolant. The other sensor that's out of the motor as well is where they tapped in for that mechanical gauge. We'll put that back in as well because that one's actually for cold start for the computer. So it also needs to be in there because it messes with fuel trim and all that. So we'll slap that back in, slap the new one in for the sensor on the side of the head, put the coolant in it, and then that should settle all of that. And then we'll rip that mechanical gauge out of here, swap the dash bezel piece over so that's nice, slap all that back together, and then on to the next piece of things that we're going to fix about this before we slap a paint job on her. So I will be back tomorrow after work. Alright, as you guys can hear, I got this thing running, got it warming up. I got the new sensor in it, got the mechanical gauge out of it, put in the sensor that for the cold start, one that actually reads for the ECM. It's actually green in the radiator now, which is a plus. So right now I'm just waiting on it to warm up. I literally just started it maybe a minute ago, and I'm waiting on the gauge to come up. It hasn't started moving yet, but yeah, just gonna let it sit here, run, let it open the thermostat, which put the new one of those in there as well. And then once it opens, I'll top it off, and yeah, it'll be all hunky-dory. So I'll come back if anything exciting happens. Well, nothing too exciting happened. It heated up, thermostat opened, I topped it off, and that was just about it. I did go ahead and I've put back together the steering column. I switched the gauge cluster out for the other one, so we're back to the original one. I got all the plastic on here. I got this turn signal switch back on. I did end up cutting the gauge out. So really, the other things we have left to do in here, we need to swap out this. There, I can show you guys a little better now that that's out of there. Alright, you can't tell me that that don't look better, especially after it used to look like that. Also, got the new switch in here. It now works on setting 2 and 3, so obviously it's going to need the resistor thing. I'm not too worried about it right this second. And then I also did go ahead and I put the carpet up here. It needs to relax, but that cleans up that entire top of the dash, and after it relaxes, it comes with this the Velcro. I'll end up getting that stuck on there. That might take a little longer because it's no longer summertime and it's going to take a minute for it to relax. I thought about putting a heat gun to it, but I'm sure that this is some cheap material and it'll probably just end up melting, so we'll just leave it alone. What else we got to do in here? Oh, this piece of the door panel was missing. I clipped that in. As far as the headliner, I think that I might go tomorrow and get a headliner. I was going to get a headliner and sun visors, but when I was there, I didn't take any Torx bits with me, and I didn't realize that the sun visors were held on with Torx bits. So that might be a maybe. Not sure yet. I still need to completely clean this thing. The floors are disgusting in it. End up cleaning the dash. We'll clean all of it up. As far as the rear speakers, I ordered some speakers and they're just not going to be here on time. They're a weird size, but that part, I mean, it is what it is. this video will go out without those being on. And I also ordered window tint. It was supposed to be here today, and I just got a notification a little bit ago. They're not going to be here until Tuesday of next week. I don't know. Buddy must have wrecked his truck or something. I'm not sure. So we're just going to keep going on with what we have. Oh, I also put that piece of trim in. I had it, so why not? I think that might be it for the interior for right now. I think we might go ahead and start masking off windows and stuff. And as far as, I'm going to have to paint mostly everything, unfortunately, because whoever did this before painted all of the trim, literally all of the, well, not trim, the rubber. So I'm going to have to paint right over it as well. I'll tape off the windows as best I can. And then, yeah, like even this, that's been painted. So maybe next time I go to a pick and pull, we'll find some of this trim, like the plastic on here, to replace. The grill, though, there is a truck there. It was one of the trucks that I took some parts off of. It had a mint condition chrome grill. I am going to go back for that at some point, but for some reason, I didn't realize that this grill was like half painted the way it is. I don't know. My bad, I guess. Oh, something else we can do before we paint it. I ordered headlights. Where are they? They're down here. The headlights that are in it, they are these ones, and they are legitimately blue when you turn them on. And no, I'm not about that. The last S10 I had, I'm not a fan of the way these ones look, but they are super bright, and they're only $20. They were in my last truck, and like I said, I don't really care for the look of them, but they're super bright. They're just got a whole bunch of LEDs in them. So we are going to switch those out and get rid of the blue, just get regular white lights back in this thing. But they have, see if I can show you down in here. It's a little dark, but this is the original plug. If you see, they've pulled the wires clean out of them, both sides. They just taped stuff up. And while I was at the pick and pull, I don't remember if I showed you or not, I got 2 new headlight plugs with enough wire to connect them back on. As far as those, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just going to strip these back, butt connect them, and then we'll pop in the new headlights. They're pretty simple to do. I might talk you through one of them and then do the other one off camera. But oh, the FYR guys, my buddies, come over and he put the air cleaner on there for me. Turned her upside down. She's got an extra 10 horsepower now. But yeah, let me get you guys set up and we'll go through putting one of these headlights in here real quick. Okay, maybe I lied just a little bit. I did off camera get these put in here. The wiring was a mess, and it's down behind the battery here and over there behind the washer box. It was just kind of a pain, and I just figured, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and knock these out off camera. They do work, obviously. I'll turn them on here, I'll show you. So that's sweet. I did get the shop vac out, and I did sweep out the inside of this thing. Sorry, I'm running out of time. I don't mean to keep doing things off camera, but it's what I got to do. The carpet is still pretty dirty and stained up, but in here it looks so much better. Like I said, we got all this dash fixed. Everything in here looking so much better. I found a floor mat in the back for that side. This side does not have one. What else about this thing? Oh, we still have mirrors. I did buy another set of mirrors. They're off of a 98 and up truck, but I couldn't find this style mirror, and this one's broke. And I didn't want to have 2 mismatched mirrors. So it is what it is. I'm actually pretty happy for this thing when I've gotten it this week. Like I said, I've been working like crazy, and ain't nothing I can do about that. So I hope you guys forgive me for what I have gotten done this week and what I haven't. Also, I've kind of decided maybe against painting this thing. I'm not too hated on or too against the camo paint job. It's just the wheels. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint these wheels, just the wheels. I'm gonna swap out these mirrors, and then after this video goes out, I'm gonna have to put the tent on it because, like I said, that's not coming in until Tuesday of next week. And you guys will have to let me know down in the comments. Do you want to see me do a really dirty, bare bones paint job on this thing in the flat black? And I have found some tires, but they're also not going to be here in time. So what I think I'm going to do to finish this video out, probably going to swap these mirrors out real quick, and then we might go ahead and paint these wheels. It's the purple for me, guys. I can't do it. So let me get on swapping these things out, and then maybe we'll wire wheel the wheels. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do it yet, but we'll figure it out real quick. All right, I got the mirrors in there, just 3 bolts on those, pretty simple. The previous owner had decided to cut the top of the door panels off, so to get in there, just those 3 bolts. Knock them out, both sides, pretty simple. I think I have fully decided though, I'm not going to paint this thing, just for the time being. If you guys want to see me paint it, let me know. I will end up painting it, but for now, I'm going to leave it alone. But the wheels, they do got to go. I'm going to pull this thing outside, take the water hose and spray them off because they are covered in mud, and I don't want to paint over that. And I'm going to do it the old school younger me way. Find something to block the overspray from the tires and just go to town. I got a couple cans of satin black. Yeah, satin black. We're just going to put them satin black, and then we're going to call those good for now. I am disappointed that the speakers and the window tint ain't here yet, but what are you going to do? I mean, can't be mad at the mailman. Or you can be, but it ain't going to get you anywhere. But let me pull this thing outside, and we'll wash these wheels off real quick. Alright guys, I went and washed them. Well, I wouldn't say wash them. Hosed them off. Got most of the dirt off of them for the most part. Let's be honest, these are not going to stay on here, and they just need to look better for now. But the way I do it, the cheap way, the easy way, the fast way, just get you a piece of cardboard, stick her in here like this. Now the trick is, don't get too carried away. You only want to paint right where you know the cardboard is, because the minute you get this on the tire, it's going to start looking terrible. So take your time, slide it. You don't want to get the overspray on the tire, so only paint by the center of the piece of cardboard. Slide it a little. It's a long process, but it'll pay off in the end, I promise. I've done this a million times. Yeah, just gonna go around this thing just like this. Slide it, paint it, slide it, paint it. Pretty simple. Boom, just like that, we got a painted wheel. Now I'm gonna go around the truck and I'm gonna do all of them, and then I'm gonna roll this thing back probably 2 or 3 feet, because that will reveal all the bottoms of everything that you missed, and you can go over that again. But that there already looks so much better. So I'm gonna go around this thing, knock out all the other ones real quick. Well guys, here it is, and if I'm being honest, I actually really like it now with the black wheels. I think it changes the look of the truck completely, and it will look so much better once the windows are tinted. There's a few more little things I want to do to it, like the tires. I did find 4 good, actual good mud tires to put all the way around it. These are okay, but we gotta get something else on there. As far as the rust, I'm not even worried about it. You can't even really tell that it's rusted right there, but And the interior, this thing cleaned up awesome. I know the carpet's still stained and dirty, but the little bit that we did, I am extremely pleased with this thing. I might try to find a topper for it. Obviously the windows. Other than that, I am just gonna rock this thing all winter. If anything else happens with it in my ownership, I'll be sure to let you guys know, but for sure let me know if you guys want to see me do down and dirty paint job with it. I will do that. I'm not against doing that at all, so let me know on that. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty pleased, satisfied with this thing. Here's the driver's side. Yeah, the seat's got a rip in it. I mean, it is what it is. This thing's a 95. She's been around the block a few times. But, like I said, super pleased, super happy, super pumped with it. Set of tires, window tint, possibly paint it if you guys want to see that. And then just drive the wheels off it, really. So, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next video, we're going to be back on the Impala. So if you're here to watch the Impala, cutting the floors clean out of the trunk of that thing, and we're just going to start over like we have to. So I do appreciate you guys watching, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.